Thanks very much, guys. All right, day number 2. As we get into the group stages here, absolutely stacked. But we start off with a fantastic one, Rain versus HyuN.
Yeah, couldn't be more excited to kick off the group stage here of the Intel Extreme Masters live from Cologne. We had the open bracket yesterday. We found 4 players to join the 12 that are already here to play over the next 2 days. And, you know, as just mentioned, the first game is a blinder. We've got, you know, top 3 Protoss player in the world going up against a player who's just got results left and right in international tournaments. Always high finishing, at least top 8 in the majority of tournaments he goes to. This is going to be a good one to start the day. Yeah,
I've got high hopes for Rain, as we saw him go through the Korean qualifier and perform so impressively there. He also followed on with his brethren from SK Telecom Classic. So these 2 big Protoss hard hitters coming from Korea here. Rain, he's certainly no slouch. I see him doing very well here. I have to go with Rhett's prediction of Rain and 4GG doing really well in this first group.
I completely agree with you. I think Rain is a favorite to win the entire of the tournament. Yeah. He is really, really good at playing StarCraft 2. He plays such a solid style. It's very, very difficult to break him. He's so defensive. He doesn't make mistakes. And against the style that we see from HyuN, it's the perfect style. HyuN plays very aggressive. He likes to play around the middle stages of StarCraft games, not too early, not very, very late games, and loves to just swarm his units all around and look for easy wins. But that's not going to be very easy to do against a player like Rain. It's going to be very difficult to break his defense. And as you can see on screen, we are getting through the veto system. Daedalus Point is out by Rain, which is not a big popular map for Protoss players. Habitation Station gone for HyuN.
And we'll see what Rain wants to get rid of next, and it's going to be Polar Knight. So this, you know, once again, really doesn't fall into Rain's style. Normally, you would like to see him get rid of Polar Knight. He doesn't want to have to establish a third base, a little bit harder than on other maps. And then Heavy Rain does actually disappear for HyuN in the end. Again, I think that's a pretty good map for Protoss, so I can understand that from HyuN.
Yeah, and he's not a major Swarm host player either, so yeah. He's gotten rid of maps that most Swarm host players would like to play on. But looking at this now, the first map picked by Rain here, Yunsu, a great map for him. His style is very unique as well. Not only is his overall style very defensive minded, but he does have a favorite opening, Phoenixes and Zealots. He loves to play that style. We have Altazim as the second map here, which HyuN was able to beat Patience on yesterday. And then that third map between these 2 players. HyuN not overall happy with his group, with the drawing yesterday. This is a very difficult group. I think it's the hardest out of all of them in trying to predict who's going to come out and the skill between all 4 players.
Yeah, certainly pretty stacked. I think going into any group would have been a bit... I mean, like, they're all super stacked, but the first one, certainly quite difficult here for HyuN. You can see it being Valentine's Day. He's got his nice, typical HyuN pants on. He brought those back for day number 2. He didn't have those on yesterday. I was worried. Where'd they gone? But he's recovered them, so it's all good.
He only needs them when the games get difficult, and he expected to get through the open bracket. Travelled here with Roccat to attempt to get into the top 16, where the WCS points are handed out and the prize money. He's made it, and of course, as you described earlier, Rain was a qualification player through the Korean qualifiers and has made himself here today as well. And a lot of people are expecting big things from this man on screen.
Yeah, Rain. If he... Well, I mean, Todd pointed out previously that when he came to WCS Europe Season 2, he disappointed a little bit. A lot of people expected him to do much better. He is champion caliber after all. And, well, I think a lot of people are expecting good things of him here. It's going to be a treat to watch all of these groups unfold. Fantastic names. I mean, once we get through this group stage and we're left with the top 8, how can you predict who is going to be in that top 8? Because everyone is just so good.
And when we get there, it's going to be a fantastic tournament. It already is, and it's just going to be clashes after clashes.
Yeah.
Rain, the 21-year-old from Korea, started his StarCraft 2 career towards the end of 2012. Was originally a Kesper Brood War player who went by the name By Sun, but then switching into StarCraft 2, changed his ID over to Rain, and he started off really well. Started off immediately well. Was winning tournaments pretty fast, actually. He won the World Championship Series Asia part of the tournament in 2012 and went on to the World Finals, which was held in China. We were both there in 2012 and got a 3rd place finish. And that was not long after his switch. So he immediately came in. He immediately made an impact onto the scene. Bit of a slower year, didn't get the best of results in the WCS system. He did get a final in the Premier League in Season 2 in Korea, but as Todd said, just top 8 at the season finals and top 8 the following seasons. But then towards the end of 2013, did get that Hot Sex Cup win.
Oh, yeah.
He did get that. He loved that cup.
Did.
And definitely looking for a massive year out of Rain in 2014. But HyuN is a player. They kind of have two different areas where they play. HyuN's a guy that plays all the international tournaments, and Rain doesn't. Rain plays solely in Korea, plays and practices for SK Telecom in Pro League, where HyuN is the traveler. He's the jet setter, the globe trotter. But here they meet in Germany.
It's going to be a good one. It certainly is. Rain and HyuN, the clash of styles, the clash of titans here, having very rarely played against one another in the past. We now have, spawning up to the top right-hand corner, our red Protoss, representing SK Telecom T1. It is Rain.
Just a god that Protoss players look up to.
Myself included, man. When I'm playing Protoss, take a lot of inspiration from Rain. He just crafts his gameplay brilliantly. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Zerg. Representing Team Rocket, it's HyuN.
Unbelievable!
He's so good, man.
He is an awesome player. He's got such a cool style that he plays. Very aggressive. He loves to stay on the layer tech and just loves to swarm units after units after units. But is he going to be able to crack the ever so solid defensive style of Rain that we know and love and see so often? This is an important game for both players. I mean, every single game at this point is so important. Every single map is so important because of the caliber of players. You've got 4GG who's on form. It's time for the 4GG Geddon. It is time because this guy is really performing. It's been long due, I think. And then, of course, you've got Liquid Hero, who on a good day is absolutely one of the best in the world. Absolutely. And I think he may have brought that. He's been in the Netherlands for a while, here in Europe, practicing on the European server, adjusting. And he's here ready to perform. But it's these two players that kick off Group 8.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, that clash of styles could come back to hinder HyuN here. I think he really does have to mix it up from his usual repertoire. Otherwise, he may just hit up against the wall that is Rain and kill himself off, because Rain will transition on strongly if you give him the opportunity to transition through that mid-game unscathed. And he's going to have a difficult time ahead of him. Probe Scout already be heading out here, though, after a gateway expand. So looking for that third, looking around.
Yeah, he's going to go down, and HyuN has opened up as greedy as can be. He's gone 3 hatcheries and then the spawning pool down here. Not afraid of any early aggression. Coming out from Rain here, expecting the gateway opening, which we do see so often from Rain here. And Rain does see that and gets the scouting information, and we'll be thinking about his next couple of moves and how he's going to go through this one.
Ooh. And actually, he's sending out Zealot and Stalker already to pressure that third. So,
and he's chrono boosting into the gateway. It has been spotted by HyuN here. And the distance that the third base is, it's quite far away from the natural here. So a little bit of pressure going to come on from Rain. Yeah, not going to allow this to go unscathed.
It's certainly very difficult to actually deal with on a map like Yonsu, especially. And this probe has had a look around, he's seen the gas, he's seen the spawning pool timing, so he knows absolutely everything that's going on here. The one Stalker's actually going to sit back at home and try and kill off the Overlord, which is a nice little move here.
He should be able to get this, actually. He gets a couple more shots from the high ground and then can run around behind the Overlord. And he's going to get that. And that's a nice win, especially considering how slow you know, that HyuN's going to be pushed back.
Actually, that's going to be very, very close on that Overlord.
It's just got 1 hit, well, 2 hits left after it regenerates a little bit. Rain's Overlord. I mean,
he went the wrong way. He actually juked him. Oh. Sick play by HyuN so far. Oh, I don't know if that's in range. I think it's just barely out of range.
Yeah, I think it is. Wow,
Sick.
Thought he was going to lose that.
Yeah, well, that means now, he's looking for it, and he will get it in the end, so GG.
4 Lings are coming across the map, and an additional 6.
Ooh.
HyuN's not going to allow this natural to go untouched either here. He's going to try. I didn't think that Overlord would actually be gotten there, but it is. And that slows him down here. He would have been making a lot more Zerglings than this.
It's a bit hard to get these Zerglings to really do a whole lot when there's a Stalker out there that doesn't have to be occupied by an Overlord that has gone down now. And the wall's going to be completed with the Mothership Core already gaining a bit of energy. So Photon Overcharge, if he would want to push on forward, would help out considerably in that situation.
Yeah, these Lings almost not needed here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Lings, and they aren't really going to be able to achieve that much. He's going to try and break this frontier. He can build a wall behind it quite easily.
He's going to lose a lot of links for free here. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to achieve. And I guess he's going to try. That probe behind is so important. He's just waiting there. If you break that Stalker, I am going to throw down a gateway, and you have no chance of getting it.
He's not even going to build the Stalker, is he?
I don't think so. He just micro... Oh, he could have... Well, it does die, but for the cost of a lot of lings, and that was a lot of lava expended for one Stalker. 12 lings dead, but after opening up triple hatch early on and getting away with it, one would argue that you do have a little bit more access to lava early on.
And with the Stargate behind this, he's starting his Phoenix production nice and early, and we'll be looking to harass some overlords, get into the drone line eventually and build that count up. Whereas on the other side of things, we have HyuN, who has built a couple more lings. He's trying to increase his drone count. It's not too bad at the moment, 45 drones across these 3 bases, and is about to take some extra gases and a Roach Warren onto the natural. 14 additional lings here as 3 Zealots are moving across the map now that Warp Gate has finished.
And Mr. Rain is just going to have a little look around. So
4 Zealots in total with the one that's on the Xelnaga tower. It's quite a lot.
At least he catches himself an Overlord and will supply block his opponent for a little bit here. Due to the fact that there's no actual Overlords in production just yet. So that's a bit of a hindrance. Once that Roach Warren finishes up, well, actually the Zealots actually move forwards a little bit more preemptively than I was expecting and will get killed off. This could have gone a little bit better for Rain if he'd have played it a bit slower, I think.
Yeah, solid defense there from HyuN, and pushes it back and goes back to droning from this point. But Rain behind it did take both assimilators on the natural, which increases his gas income, which allows him to make a tech switch here, which is over to the robotics facility, and even able to add on a couple of sentries and now the forge as well. So he's going to be looking to get that +1 attack, look to push his tech up towards Colossus, we can only imagine from this point. But his harassment is continuing on. He's got a couple of kills, a couple of overlord kills with these Phoenixes so far, and actually finds himself a Queen here, which is nice. He'll have to double lift this, though.
Yeah, he certainly will. He's still going to have to double lift, even with that 4th Phoenix coming along at the very end, so does get that. But again, the supply block's been quite horrific here for HyuN. As those overlords.
Oh, and he cancelled his Roach Warren. I didn't notice that. And he's got the 2nd evolution chamber.
Nice.
And going over to Zergling only upgrades. And we saw this style come out from HyuN yesterday. Very Zergling heavy. And then, surprisingly, he was playing a couple of mind games because it looked like he was going over to Ultralist, but he actually played Brood Wards quite earlier on in the game here. We'll have to follow that and see what he wants to do ideally.
Yeah, certainly can benefit the Broodlings.
Found another Queen.
A very nice little weak spot here. That Spore Crawler just out of range of those Phoenix on the very edge of that. And the Robobait now behind all of this for Rain does go down. So he's transitioning on nicely against, again, the only lings. The Roach Warren started once again here for HyuN. Just to, kind of keep him accommodated through that mid-game, which is normally also important for HyuN.
Yeah, these Phoenixes have been doing great so far. 6 Phoenixes, just doing lots and lots of damage throughout. As you can see, double Queens and 4 Overlords, and then, of course, a couple of drones here and there. And we're about to see Rain take his 3rd base. He has the robotics bit finished up, and he has quite a few Zealots here. The Zergling upgrades are not completed. And HyuN is going to see if there was a mistake there by Rain, who would have maybe left his front door open.
He caught the probe on the first assault and caught it second as it came out once again. So he's actually delayed quite nicely. And, well, no, he's not going to get that. So all is good. Mr. Rain will get himself that 3rd base down, and then he'll try and fortify as best he can.
He gets the probe again, though.
Yeah.
It's going to have to send out another one to start building the cannon and making a wall around there. 1-1's about to complete, but still only drones, and actually pathogen glands coming in for HyuN here, looking to switch over to infestors. But we do have Colossus and Void Rays about to be added into the mix of Rain here, who is going to establish his 3rd base.
I do love the addition of pathogen glands and infestors this quickly against a player like Rain, who oftentimes does go for that Colossus and Void Ray mix, which does clump up really, really nicely against fungals, but it's all about landing that initial fungal that can sometimes be a little bit treacherous.
And he has 7 queens out now too, or about to be 7, so he is starting to increase that queen count, which would be nice against Void Rays if he was to know that they were coming. He doesn't yet. It's all just assumptions from this point.
And also it transitions on great if you want to go over to those Ultralists eventually, or even Broodlords for transfusions, etc. As he pushes that creep out, which can get also aggressive. Of course, he does need to bank up a little bit of energy for those transfuses, though.
He was able to pick off another Queen there. Just these Phoenixes are worth their weight in gold, just doing so much damage.
They're doing really well for themselves. They are. And the 4th base is going down. Did he actually see that with the Phoenix? I think he barely... Yeah, he did. So he does have indication of that. And now the Warp Prism comes in for Rain.
These Queens are baiting these... Phoenixes down, I think, because the infestors are ready, are they not? Or they're about to be.
They're a little out of the way for now, but you're right. If he did actually bait them out, that would be fantastic First 2 queens do overextend just a little bit.
What does he have? He needs roaches here to deal with these Colossus.
Yeah, he's trying to get some out, but those supply blocks earlier on did kind of hurt him.
This is a really good position for Rain. Obviously, he can time warp and force field well here. And HyuN's going to come from behind. Ooh. He's moving his Lings and roaches to the left-hand side here. But see you later.
Rain's taking no chances, and that's typical Rain. He's just going to play standard, he's going to play stable, and wait for himself to amass a strong army, because during that he was supply block, didn't really have too much ability to warp in, which would have been a hindrance.
He is adding on 3 extra gateways, which would increase his gateway count to 9, but he also does see that the Hive is on the way. And throughout this, he's got brilliant scouting information, knows it's double evolution chamber, knows that it's Zergling upgrades here. Is he going to look to do an attack before any Hive structures can be implemented into this game, before the Ultras Cavern come down? I mean, that's a standard timing to hit from this point. 9 gateways isn't massive, but with the Warp Prism on the left-hand side, bear in mind, that can get into the main base, and then he could move forward with his army around the time that +2 completes. There is a potential here for Rain.
Phoenix catch themselves an Infestor, but the Fungals are still continuing on. The Zealots on the left-hand side have been spotted technically by the Vision, but he hasn't reacted in time to fully deal with that.
Nice move by Reigns on the left-hand side here. Zealots in the main and on the fourth.
Oh, very, very nicely done. This is going to really put a wrench in the works here for HyuN. He also spots Vipers coming out as well, but after seeing that many Queens already out too, this has to really tip him off as to what his opponent is ideally wanting to go to. Did you see the Ultralisk Cavern yet? It's at the back here.
I think he can assume, because he hasn't seen Aspire at all in this game.
Yeah. Oh, he sees it
6 High Templar. We're going to see some Archons brought into the mix immediately, and I think he's going to move out very, very soon here. Whether it be for an attack and a 4th base at this point, it's just a standard timing to hit around this point. He's moving forward to the probe, and this is where Rain's going to be at his strongest and HyuN at his weakest. HyuN isn't trying to build Ultralisk though. He's actually gets an Infestor and Queen's Court there, trying to move to the right-hand side.
He absolutely can't waste anything in these engagements, because right now the army supplies are very, very even, just a little bit in favor of HyuN, but the power behind Rain's army is super, super strong. So Fungals are going to be so important as this engagement approaches.
And it's about to happen here. There's a couple of changelings amongst the mix, so he sees where the army is. Oh, great force fields!
Oh, wow. He actually catches so much of that behind this. It doesn't even matter about the grabs as they pull those Colossi on forwards, but there was nothing to help them out. The force fields fall down as the Archons march forwards to do mega splash damage anyway, and this was a fantastic engagement opportunity by Rain.
Well, look at HyuN supply. It is dropping fast. These Colossus doing a lot of damage here. This is just a beautiful opportunity that Rain took and is, as expected, looking to beat HyuN here.
Divide and conquer, and Rain does it
right before the Ultras come out, and he's really done a lot of damage here. Even if the Ultras come to clean up these Colossus, the amount of damage which was dealt was massive here. 27 drones are left.
It was absolutely catastrophic. He killed 58 drones across the course of harassment,
beautiful
and bringing that third down. Really nicely done. And now HyuN is massively on the back foot. Yes, he has Ultralisks out. Kindness Plating will finish in just a second. But all Rain has to do is sit back behind a wall, even if the counter was to come. He's just taking too much damage.
There's a lot of it's 63 supply. It's going to be brought down quite a bit, but there's a lot of money in the bank here, and there's only 5 Ultralisks. Archons, Void Rays, anything. Just build a bunch of stuff from the gateways you have. The Phoenix is still alive in this game.
It's amazing.
All 6 of them still alive. The amount of damage. He has killed so many workers throughout, not just with the Phoenixes, but with the army overall. HyuN is looking to just try an attack when he knows that Rain's lost as many of his army units as possible, but even these Ultralisks at this point with Archons and units just being able to come in at any moment from the warp gates he has available.
Yeah, just warping right next to them.
Yeah,
wrap
beautiful.
Around.
Just step back all the time. This has been a great game again from Rain. And like Todd was mentioning earlier, he was expecting a Rain win. I think a lot of people were. And this is what it's looking to be.
Just absolutely clinical execution, and then really pouncing at the opportunity to get that favorable engagement. And again, as you mentioned before, the longevity of these Phoenix never ceases to amaze me when you put them in the hands of someone like Rain, who just constantly harasses. GG, Rain takes game number 1 in this best of 3.
And a beautiful start for Rain here in Group A, and that's exactly what he needed in a group that's difficult. You don't want to be losing the first game to have to go through 4GG, Hero, depending on who it is, potentially a rematch against HyuN later on. This is a great start for him, and a very difficult one for HyuN, who realized how difficult this group would be yesterday upon seeing the drawings And I suppose I can say it since it is Korean. He was repeating the words Shibal, Shibal, Shibal over and over and over again as he walked to his hotel, saying, why do I have to be the one that was drawn into the group which had the 3 Koreans in? The hardest group that he could have got drawn into, and he's now starting to feel it.
A brutal, brutal position for him to be in. Now goes 1 game down against a tournament favorite here in Rain, who looked very strong there. And this next map is going to be Altrazim Stronghold, a map that I would never, ever want to play this guy on.
Yeah, and if you think about the 2 players stylistically here, one player likes to be... I mean, even though the smaller maps do usually favor Protoss players overall, but on a map this size, how is HyuN's usual playstyle, which is kind of aggressive, how is he meant to be able to play that style on such a large map here? We'll have to see what he's going to bring to the table going into map number 2. He's a very experienced player. He's played in hundreds of tournaments. And when we talk about major international ones, he's got a lot under his belt. He's got a tournament victory at DreamHack Valencia last year, which was a difficult tournament to win. And then he's got multiple top 4 finishes, multiple top 8 finishes. But now he goes up against one of the best Protoss players in the world, and that is not an understatement. This guy, you just saw what happened. He's just from the get-go, with the Phoenixes. It started there, and it really ended there with them, as we saw in the last couple of frames of that game. Yeah. They were still around.
And no, aside from this series, Sean, I'm going to be fighting over all these games. I want to cast every single... Like, we have this, and then after we have Hero versus 4GG. Are you kidding me? Like, that's going to be pretty sick as well. So, and then whoever falls down into the lower bracket of this group or the upper is... Such good games coming up.
And then, of course, once we get into Group B, we have Dia playing, Jack G playing, Patience playing, QXE thrown into the Lion's Den. Poor Kevin.
Poor Kevin. I'm sorry, Kevin.
It's okay. He's got to go in it with the Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he definitely will be last place.
I gave him a Terran cape yesterday, so I'm sure that'll be fueling him on. I hope he does too. But anyway.
Puffer jacket versus t-shirt.
Sick. All right. So let's get into game number 2. Altrazim Stronghold is our map. Rain currently 1 game up here, as HyuN looks to come back in this best of 3. It's going to be a tough one. Let's get right on into it. All right then, so spawning up to the top right-hand corner here as our red Protoss representing SK Telecom T1. It's Rain. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Zerg representing Team Rocket. It's HyuN.
He needs to find the tiger within.
He does.
He needs to set the rules here.
He needs to summon the spirit of Kevin. Oh, it's gonna be hard.
You didn't do the beep bop beep bop beep beep boop boop boop.
It goes El Tiena. Beep boop boop boop.
That's right.
I've worked on it.
You've worked on it. You practiced it.
Yeah.
Sorry, SK Telecom. Definitely. I mean, even though they lost in the playoffs versus KT in their rivalry game, and they lost 0-4.
Yeah.
SKT is by far the most stacked StarCraft team ever.
Yeah,
they have
insane.
Everybody. They are incredible.
Let's think. Rain, Parting, Soul Key, Fantasy. Who am I missing?
Classic.
There's Classic as well. I'm missing more. There's so many. Sue.
I mean, those are the big names. Yeah, and then you've got the second class names, like, Bravo's in there as well. Paralyzed. It's just an amazing team. Absolutely incredible. Rain, by the way, in this game here is opened up for definitely the best build that you can do on this map, and you can get away with it too.
Yeah.
It's the Nexus, and then the pylon, and then the gateway, and then second pylon, and then what you'll see happen is you'll take both of the assimilators at the same time, and it is a little bit risky, but on a map this size, you're going to expect your Zerg player to play kind of on the same wavelength as you are, which is 3 hatcheries, and compared to the last game, the extractor for the Zergling speed, which is so we can stop mining the gas over to the Zergling speed, and then the spawning pool here. So both players opening up with super super economy-focused builds.
Yeah, it's nice to see. And once again, HyuN sent his first Overlord up to the north, just so you can see if there was a natural there very quickly. Obviously, he's not spawning that position anyway. So aside from that, he's just going to be trying to scout out. Unfortunately for him, that one Overlord to the south did not see that probe, but that wouldn't really give him much info anyway. He's just opening with that macro focus, with that third hatchery very quickly and abundantly here. So we're going to see this game play out quite long. But again, for HyuN's mid-game focus that he normally likes to do, it's going to be difficult. But we saw the transition up to Ultralisk with melee upgrades, which is always more late-game focus, which was nice to see from HyuN. I would like to see him do that again here, actually.
Yeah, he may do that. I mean, if you can take a good fight in the middle of the map, Ultralisks are going to be pretty good for you.
Yeah, totally sick. The middle of this map's huge.
Yeah, it is very, very big. Rain gets a full-off scout here, and I think, he was building a Zealot and then cancelled it. As soon as he saw the opponent's build, there's no really need for a Zealot in this case. It's 100 mils that you can save. And then he throws down the Stargate pretty much immediately here. So by the looks of it, we'll be looking to play a very similar style to how we played previously. And why wouldn't you when you can get so much damage dealt with those Phoenixes while doing everything with his build order and nailing it back at home all at the same time. Whereas HyuN mined that 100 gas, got Zergling speed, and then did take out the assimilator, or the Vespene Geyser, should I say, from the extractor, and then stopped mining gas. And now is just kind of looking around with a couple of Zerglings, trying to get some information, realizes his opponent's cross position, doesn't really know what he's doing, and of course wanting to know if there's any pylons around close.
I also like the Stargate on this map because it's an absolute pain in the bum for a Zerg to transition queens between all these 3 base locations and get going really, really quickly in terms of that defense. Of course they're going to throw Spore Crawlers down, but queen support is always nice to have when it comes to those engagements. And now, Rain just Chrono boosting out those Phoenix, they're going to get going super fast.
And unfortunately for HyuN, he doesn't really know what he's playing against. This still could be Dark Templar. He hasn't found a pylon anywhere close, which makes it a little bit easier, and he knows that there probably is going to be a pylon close if he wanted to do some kind of build like that. But he will run into the Phoenixes soon, and that will let him know what his opponent's build is. And he sees the Phoenix in the middle of the map now.
And he's going to lose an Overlord for it, unfortunately for him. So
starts another one immediately, and then starts building more drones too, realizing that he's going to have to build some spores soon.
Very, very important. And for now, the Zergling's just heading off everywhere to have a look around this entire map, which takes a while, to be fair.
This Overlord just picks off. There is the probe on the right-hand side here. The Forge has been built. You can obviously, with the Forge, go into +1 attack. And with the probe still around here,
he's being super sneaky with this probe.
He might try to get +1 attack Chrono Boost into it. We could see a +1 attack into trying to break the third base, maybe.
Look what Rain's doing. He's making sure his opponent hasn't hidden a base anywhere, which is... I mean, that's Rain. This is how safely he plays. He thinks if I'm going to go equal bases with you, or just one minus, then I'm going to be super strong here.
And a very fast third base coming in for Rain. He's not going to use the +1 attack aggressively here, but he's throwing down the third Nexus just off 2 gateways and the Stargate here. And obviously, with such a large map, it's going to be much more difficult for HyuN to go over there to do anything with this. And he's now building his Spore Crawlers perfectly well timed. Just a few seconds late here, as you can see, the Phoenixes have got into the third base.
With 4 Phoenix, HyuN needs that one lift for
and
each
he's missing lava injects across bases now, bringing all these queens down, Kalaris.
Yeah, it really hurts on this map. It really does. It's hard to properly reinforce at these locations. And, you know, Rain's going to exploit that to the best with these Phoenix. So, strong move so far.
Infestation pit's pretty early. I'm not too sure. I mean, is he going to go Infestors here?
I guess he probably does and tries to do a simple... Well, he's going for Clear Reconstitution and Hydralisk Den. Roach Hydra, I don't know if this is going to work against what we're seeing from Rain so far.
Well, Rain spotted everything. He's actually seen the Roach Roar on the Hydra Den and the Infestation Pit. He's going to have to make sure he continues to scout well with these Phoenixes to know exactly what unit composition is going to come out from his opponent.
Look at this weak spot he finds in between those 2 Spore Crawlers and gets straight on out. 6 workers go down.
6 workers and what? A couple of, like 2, 3 queens? 3 queens, 6 workers already.
Yeah. Brilliant.
While taking a really fast third base, untouched, completely free to take that.
HyuN's lost 1,100 resources more than his opponent right now, who's lost a probe. That's it. And he catches even more drones, catches an Overseer. There is the 4th base on the way, but I mean, those Phoenix could quite happily find that very, very quickly if he keeps active, and he's going to find it instantly.
And HyuN has decided with the Infestation Pit, which he could have gone to Swarm Host or Infestors, he's actually gone up to the Hive here. He's getting Roach Speed and Hydra Speed and a +1 attack. So is this going to be, from what it seems, a Roach Hydra Viper play? That's what it seems to be looking towards at the moment. But either way, Rain is set up beautifully. He's added on 3 Phoenixes here, not really sure what to expect. He hasn't seen any layer units at all. So is this maybe Mulus that are going to hit him? So he's building more Phoenixes. He's got the Robotics Facility coming to play, a second one, bear in mind. So he's actually setting himself up beautifully because he's got a lot of gateways. He's got double Robotics Facility. He's got a Warp Prism on its way as well. And we have a single Swarm Host.
It's a trick. It's a trap. It's a trap, Sean.
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess it'll be so funny if it just strolls out now, gets lifted and killed.
Great use. Well, here are the Vipers coming in. The Hydra's in the middle map, and they find a Phoenix.
Oh, nicely done.
But there's a lot more.
Oh god, that is a lot more. He's going to go to town on these Hydralisks. They are not even that well isolated.
Yeah, they have to hug the Spore Crawlers.
Jeez. Run away,
and
Hydras!
He's got no scouting information throughout this game because of all the Overlords have been killed. He's got no idea what Rain's doing. This could have been Colossus, could have been Mass Phoenix, could have been Mass Zealot Archon. He didn't know, and then all of a sudden, bam! We have all these Phoenixes.
These Zerg players, they're really not having a good time against Mass Phoenix.
And this 4th base, completely going to get screwed.
Yeah, if he just turns around... Oh, Zealots as well. Like, he can't even go over there with the Hydralisks. If he goes away from them, Phoenix start lifting up all the Hydras.
Okay, well, here come the Hydralisks. There's quite a few of them now.
They're quite clumped up, but he's finding positions to move away and still kill off some. He lost 2 or 3 Phoenix there for the cost of a few Hydras.
A 4th Phoenix, but more importantly, he's killed the 4th.
Yeah.
Rain is outclassing, unfortunately, at this point, HyuN, who goes in with double overseers and now sees a bunch of gateways.
This is a really tough spot for HyuN to be in. Yes, he's up in terms of supply, army supply, but realistically, even with muscular augments, how aggressive can you be across this map with these Hydralisks?
And there's the Warp Prism in the bottom right as well, which has gone also undetected because Rain's killed all the Overlords, and that's, perfect. He's going to get in there now, and this is really far back and going to be difficult to defend. Zealot Charge is on its way. Not quite ready. That would have helped and would have made this a bit more dangerous, but even then...
And now you can't even reinforce with those Hydralisks at this location because it's so far out of the way. So these Zealots are going to go to work once again. Hydralisks are going to slowly trickle down there, but a lot of drones are going to die.
And behind this, by the looks of it, with all these gateways coming in double Colossus, Rain is just harassing, like he does, and then is going to come down with a pretty big army soon when Thermal Lance is done. Maybe gets an extra couple of Colossus and that +2 attack. Yeah. What really is HyuN going to have to stop that?
Oh, and more drones die between the transition to the 4th. This is getting out of hand. I mean, the Vipers are going to have to do so much work in these next engagements.
Yeah.
These 30 workers. Oh.
I mean, maybe with a complete full surround, like a big happy face.
Yeah, that would be.
Set of Hydralisks and... Rain walks in the middle because there are quite a few units. As you can see, that one Swarm Host he's trying to do something in this.
He's going to get picked up, man. I swear.
But not only are there 2 Colossus and about to be a 3rd and 4th, there's also Storm on the way too. And there are a lot of Hydralisks. You've got to give it to him. There's a lot of Hydralisks. There's a couple of Vipers.
Sean. The Phoenix. They're on their way. No!
All right. There are 5 Zealots, 2 Colossus, 2 High Templar, Phoenixes that killed the Swarm Host. Well, actually, he lost 3 Phoenix there.
Yeah, that was a bit sloppy.
Rain is at HyuN is at 200 supply, so Rain's got to be careful here. But he should be able to hold this.
He only has the 2 Wow, okay.
He's about to have 2 more. He's about to be 4.
And he's
Storm. Well, that Storm's not ready yet, but feedbacks are. There's one. Oh, God, that Viper. What a cruel way to die.
Yeah. Feedback certainly hurts, I can only imagine. I guess you just kind of explode from the innards.
Yeah, well, maybe it's not actually that cruel. You're just gone.
Yeah, you really don't feel it. It's like instantaneous.
Stormu! Where's the Stormu? He doesn't have any energy on his High Templar.
There's the double grabber room. 2 of those Colossi will fall very, very quickly, but in the end, he still can't compete with this.
Yeah, this is Rain's game, Claris.
Oh, it's brutal.
I mean... HyuN gets a spread out fight, which the Colossus, have minimal damage, but still there's nothing to fight the Colossus here. This has been a very difficult series here for HyuN, a very, very difficult series up against Rain. And Rain seems to be just pushing forward. His Colossus are unanswered.
I mean,
there's 2 of them left.
HyuN anticipated this being difficult when he came into it, and it certainly has proved so. I mean, Rain has his 4th base up and established now over on that right-hand side, just needs to transfer over. The resources lost here for HyuN is kind of catastrophic as Rain just presses his advantage through the middle of the map. He doesn't even have to go if he doesn't want to, because
he's got a 4th base. He doesn't need to fight at all. There's no reason to.
Yeah, he's just going to sit back, stay at home, get +3 weapons, get Blink, get all the upgrades he wants, gets his perfect composition, and away he goes.
Well, HyuN's found his feet on ground now. He's able to get these 4 bases up and running. He's got Spines and a Spore there to help protect himself.
But he's so stuck in the mid-game. Like, Hydralisks alone, I'm not really sure how that's going to really work out.
He only has Hydralisks and Vipers. That's all he has at this point. And then there is... Okay, so if it was just one of the splash damage units that Rain had, if it was just Colossus or just Storm maybe, then it might be a bit easier. But Roach, Hydra, Viper against Storm and Colossus, when there's no support from the air, from the Spy, because it's only just now being built, it's going to be very difficult to take a fight, aggressively or defensively from this point. We see double Spy coming in and also Enduring Locust, so a bit of a switch up. And HyuN is able to take a 5th base here.
Yeah, I mean, the Enduring Locust really does give us the indication that he kind of wants to drag this game on a little bit longer if he finds the utilization of the Swarm Hosts to be effective. But on this map, it can be really difficult to make that effective because your Protoss opponent can just start running circles around you. Locusts don't cover Ultra Regime Stronghold all that effectively.
Yeah, they're not the best unit on this map.
And well, this harassment's going to do not too much, actually, with the blocking of that Spine Crawler there. He tries to move those Zealots into a better position to get surface area on that hatchery, but in the end, plenty of Spines will clean that up with the reinforcements.
Yeah, it looks like Rain's going to go meet with his pylons on the left-hand side and maybe take a fight here, looking to be aggressive. He is about to have +3 attack. He's got a Warp Prism at the back of the base here, and that's going to pull HyuN all the way south, and then we can see Rain's army march to the west here, meet up with those pylons. He's got an observe with his army.
I'm tempted
he's actually coming down to another pylon, actually, with his army.
The hatchery! It goes down.
It's a big loss there for HyuN.
Painful.
And here comes the main army of Rain. +3 attack about to kick in, as you see, completed. And he's going to look to take a fight with this. Does he have enough to combat these 3 Colossus and the High Templar here? As we're going to see it rain some storms.
This is going to be difficult. Guardian Shield gets thrown up preemptively to take the engagement. It's going to soak up a lot of the damage. The storms land on those Hydralisks as well as the Roaches pretty devastatingly, as HyuN has to fall on back once again. He just cannot engage that army. HyuN says, screw it, time to counterattack, time to base trade, but even that is going to be difficult.
Yeah, and there's the... Well, actually, the Mothership Core is not with this army. Where is it?
It was just before. It must be left back just a little bit further. Or did it die just then?
Oh, it's been left back. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I thought it died. So yeah, from this position...
Mutalisks!
Mutalisks. 17 Mutalisks.
The answer to everything, but probably not this conundrum.
Well, this is going to be difficult for HyuN to make work here. There's still obviously a lot of Stalkers.
No! The Blinkaroo!
Oh, and 70 Mutalisks just became 10.
Yeah, that was not the most effective use of gas, I'm going to say, Sean.
Well, it looks like Rain's going to pull some probes from this bottom side and is going to start building structures elsewhere.
That's fine to do.
Because it looks like his 3rd is going to be beaten, and so is his natural. The Dark Shrine's coming in, which is going to be very difficult if there isn't any detection out there. He's already lost the layer. There's one Overseer, which is... Oh, he actually cancelled it there with the Overseer.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, losing a few buildings here and there, but all of the buildings for HyuN are going to die off so much quicker with the firepower that we're seeing from Rain. As he's just ransacking the main, he's already bulldozed.
There's a lot of cannons up there on that top left side.
Did he? Oh, okay.
Look at all these cannons.
Yeah, nice. Any unit he can kill with these is just a big, big bonus. Like, it's... I mean, he can even blink back. Oh, actually, killing off that pylon was very, very wise there by HyuN. Does isolate this for a little bit.
The Mothership Core's with the army now, and it has 80 energy, so it's not that far away from a recall if need be to the right-hand side Nexus, which isn't going to be fought for a while. And as you said, Rain is wearing down this army. HyuN's, put himself in... I guess there was always going to be a better opportunity to win this game if he did this rather than took the fight. He was never going to win the fight heads up and still not going to win the fight in a direct engagement here.
There you go.
And he does call GG. and Rain takes this series 2-0. I think we can both say here, Klaris, quite convincingly.
Yeah, certainly so. Rain moves on to that winner's game here in Group A, and he's now going to be waiting for the winner of 4GG versus HyuN, which is going to be our next series up and coming. But as we say, we're only going to have Group A and B today, but just great games across the board. Every single game is going to be a stonker. And
HyuN has a difficult road ahead of him now. He goes down to the losers match in Group A, will have to face up against the loser of 4GG and HyuN, whereas Rain finds himself in the winners match already. The start of day 2 here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Yeah, it's going to be good. It is going to be good. You mentioned it yesterday. This is pretty much the most stacked Intel Extreme Masters we've ever had. Yeah. In terms of the lineup, the Kesper players coming through, people like Rain and Classic. It's so nice to actually see how they've done, how they've evolved through StarCraft. And I'm looking forward to seeing Classic play later on at some point, because he plays very similar to Rain, actually. Just that normal, stable, standard style. A lot of Stargate openers as well there from him against people, Zerg players, and it's a treat to watch. Yeah, Classic, another, a lot of Terran players call him a traitor because he used to play Terran and switched to Protoss. Yeah, he did. Right. But he is another person to keep your eyes on this weekend or this following few days, because he's definitely a great player. Yeah. He's here with Rain, and they've come to conquer this tournament. Remember, it's not only about just winning this tournament, it's about finishing top 2 to get that chance to play at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, where 16 players will fight for $100,000 winner takes all. So there's a lot here as we do draw close towards the end of Season 8 at the Intel Extreme Masters. But a good start to Day 2, and I'm sure it's only going to get better when we get really thick into Group A and Group B. Yeah, a lot of fan favourites throughout the entirety of the groups. Unfortunately, HyuN falling in that first series, but maybe he can make it back, even though his next series is going to be hard regardless of who he has to face. Yeah. 4GG's been looking great. HyuN always kind of looks great, so it's a tough group. Yeah, it's. I mean, I've seen Liquid Hero play so many tournaments. I think we all have, and he just looks classes above a lot of players usually. And let's hope he's brought that form here. And I'm looking forward to the game against 4GG, because 4GG does play that unique style, the Ghostless style, Hellbats into his composition, and we'll see what HyuN can bring to fight against that. So that will be our next game that will be coming onto this stream. I'm quite looking forward to that 4GG and HyuN. All right, well, we're done here, guys. We're going to send it over to the other studio with Letod.
Thanks, guys. Very straightforward games here. Rain, I did say there was a question mark here earlier about how well he was going to play. I was not sure, and I think he's answered that pretty well with a 2-0 here versus HyuN. Very convincing, some nice target play into just convincing wins every single time. Able to read the game very, very well, just like HyuN, who just won 2 Intel Extreme Masters in a row. So in a moment here, we're going to be taking a look at a moment in Game 1, but first I want to talk a little bit about Game 2. On Alter Zim, it seems very difficult to deal with Mutas, in my opinion, because if you go for a very quick third base, your opponent is going to be able to be on 5 bases very quickly. So Rain tried to counter that with 3 Stargates. He saw that there was no Mutas at the time. He still made a few Phoenixes, which didn't mean he was committing too much to them. If he had been facing a huge mass of Hydralisks very, very quickly and some kind of all-in, he would have been in danger, but that was not the case. HyuN was trying to take a force base, he was trying to get a lot of Hydralisks, so he lost a lot of them directly, and then from there it can only go downhill against a player like Rain, who reads the game well. So Rain played a very solid game with the 3 Stargates, double robo behind this, and in the end was too solid. So I want to take a look at a moment in the first game, because Rain played that just so beautifully. He was being active consistently with his 5 Phoenixes. He went into Colossus, and he saw that his opponent was going into Ultra. So there was a very short timing he had to hit before this Colossi became kind of useless. So I actually want to take a look at the production tab right now, because that's when HyuN's army is about to get a lot stronger when he's going to reach those Ultra discs. Look at how clutch this timing is. 16 minutes 21. He saw basically the Ultra disc cavern go down earlier. He knew exactly when they were going to come out. And now he knows that he does not see the production tab like we do. He knows that those Ultras are on the way, and he wants to attack before, which is the right reflex you need to have when you make this many Colossi, because they are going to be bad. So he goes for it, and now he sees that those units are out of position. Perfect double force fields. And you see he's going to move a little bit away from this so that he does not get abducted, one of his Archons or Colossus, into this. Actually, this was a big mistake. He could have, HyuN could have broken those force fields here, but even then, like those units, they were very clumped up. There was way too much here for even the army supply. He was ahead. At this point, you're not supposed to be ahead if you're a Protoss. 114 army supply to 80 something. So he crushes through here, and even if this is held after this, he's done the damage that he had to do. He crushed a lot of the third base, ended up killing a whole bunch of drones behind this, and he was getting blink, he was getting +3. He already had charge, which was pretty interesting. He saw he was against a Zergling heavy style, so he went for charge first instead of blink. So very nicely done here by Rain, who's going to win the first match in this group 2-0 after some quite convincing play. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more from this guy in this tournament. That's it for the analysis. And let's go and check in with Red Eye, I believe, before the next game, which is going to be 4GG versus Hero.
Thank you very much, Todd. Expert analysis from our in-house Protoss expert. He'll be back on the casting desk very shortly as well for our next game, as he rightly said. 4GG going up head-to-head with Team Liquid's Hero. That's our next game. Before that, we're going to take a quick break. Don't forget, we have all of our usual social media moguls out there right now monitoring what you're saying and what you're doing, and we'll get those into the program. So make sure you tweet at us or use the hashtag #IEM, and your tweet could feature on stream. That's right, 15 seconds of fame. Andy Warhol, he knew everything there was to know about Twitter 40 years ago. Time now for a quick break, and when we come back, more action from Group A.